We'll just sit here all week.
Yeah.
All right.
Destil, we waited for you.
Oops,
It's a 7-day stream.
Yes, here he goes, the Steve Urkel robot.
Oh God.
I have a picture.
The
That's
cooler,
a-
Daniel.
That's not the Steve Urkel robot. That's Bugbears and
roll
Ned
initiative.
Noakes.
I have a headache.
Not as big of a headache as these guys are about to have.
Okay.
They might just hold the ship.
I'm used to having shit initiative.
You had me at initiative.
Yep.
Raazu's way down here.
Yep.
I feel like Raazu's always way down here.
Yeah, it's because I can't roll for shit on initiative.
So, Birdie, Noakes and his 4 bugbears are going to take hold of you guys and clasp you in manacles. What's Birdie's intention? You win the initiative.
I'm going to run past them and get away from them,
Okay.
while all the while screaming, I guess obscenities.
Okay. Make a either strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics check.
I mean, that is my acrobatics is 7. So that's a 17.
17. As you turn to run, Noakes grabs hold of you, and you are grappled. And that's going to bring us to Noakes' turn, which he's going to use. Well, I guess you can take an action on your turn. You haven't taken an action yet.
I'm going to cast an illusion of so we're over here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to cast an illusion that the this 5-foot square is on fire.
Okay. Does that require... Oh, it doesn't require somatic components, but it requires you to use your trinket as a spell focus.
Okay.
And you feel something hit you in the head. You realize it's an apple core. And you see Quasginkle, the goblin, and some of the other... I mean, this is a big spectacle going on off deck. He's throwing an apple core at you. It's bounced off your head, and he calls out, "I told you, boys! I told you he was taking all of the rum!"
Birdie yells back, "I don't even drink!"
This is... Noakes. Noakes uses his turn to put manacles on you, so you're now restrained. What is Raazu's stance like right now?
Fist balled, ready to go.
But you have your weapons.
No, she's not gonna bear weapons for this.
Okay. Make either a strength athletics or dexterity acrobatic check.
$20.
20. Make another one.
25.
25. So the first of the bugbears is trying to grab hold of you, to grapple you,
Mm-hmm.
and to no avail. Make another one.
17.
17. Make another one. I'm rolling high too, like relatively high.
19.
All right, the second bugbear unsuccessfully tries to take hold of you. Number 3. What are you using? Strength or dex? Probably strength, right?
Strength, yeah. That's 25.
25. Make another one.
17. Oh, I'm sorry, 16. No, 17.
17?
Yep.
The third bugbear, I mean, you're struggling against all of these guys. They step in, and they realize it's really going to take all of them to detain you. And If it was just one or two of them, I mean, they're just lowly bugbears. They've got nothing on you. But the third one manages to grab your arm and wrench it behind your back. And the fourth bugbear uses his action to put the manacles on.
Okay.
At that point, it's your turn. What would you like to do? Right now you're
strength check to
You're
break
grappled and
manacles.
restrained. Okay.
So it's just a straight strength check, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to do it, because, wait, hold on, let me check, because I have manacles on my...
Should be on your character sheet.
Yeah, DC 20 to break it, I didn't do it.
And you're struggling against them?
And Raazu shouts out, Yashnars, make the captain understand!
Yashnars isn't here anymore. Yashnars went back below decks with Adrex.
She continued regardless.
Okay. And the crew watches as the two of you are dragged below decks and taken down to the brig. And
Raazu's fighting the entire way.
Screaming and fighting the whole way down.
Like, if I can, I'm going to try and slip out of the manacles.
You have to break them. So it's a DC 20 strength check.
It says I can...
Escaping manacles requires a DC 20 dexterity check.
Are you going to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Escape.
I just closed my books thinking that would be the end of the scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm out.
You got out?
Yeah.
Raazu. Birdie scrambles away from you guys. And as you're taken below deck, you hear Noakes bellow out. 3 rations of rum to anybody who brings down the Kobold. Now I've got to roll a whole bunch more of initiative. How far do you want to play this out, Birdie?
I mean, like...
Do you want to go all the way to the bitter end?
Like... Like, is the captain still here? Or did he turn
No,
and
he
leave?
went back into his room. But he gave them a lawful order to put you in irons, and you slipped out of them. And then Noak told the whole crew an extra ration to anybody who brings me that kobold.
I mean, I'm going to dash under the stair. I'm going to dash down here. Down the ladder.
Okay. Raazu. You're dragged kicking and screaming to the brig.
Yep.
And Noak says with a big toothy grin and a wide smile, as he and one of the bugbears who dragged you down here, he says, "You know I take no pleasure in this."
Yeah, it's written all over your face. Raazu snaps back.
Okay.
But yeah, no, my plan is to dash down here, use the password I know, and hide in the treasury.
So you dash down as fast as you can to the treasury. You realize that doing this, you're going to run directly back into Noakes. Because he's bringing Raazu down. Like, you'd have to follow him down below decks. They're going to the same place.
I mean, they're fighting with Raazu, right?
They are, but, I mean, you're going to have to fight through every single crew member on this ship who Noakes has just told to bring this kobold to me. The chance of you getting this treasury door without being, like unmolested is virtually zero, is my point.
Raazu shouts out, "Birdie, stand down."
I'll tell you, let's simplify it. We'll put it this way. You have 3 options. Okay? Option A, you're dead.
No,
that's option A. Because
I'll stand down.
You'll push it to the point where they throw you. Option B is you're taken to the brig with Raazu, or option C is you're taken to the brig with Raazu with 1 hit point. I'll give you those options to save us this tedious combat.
Like, I was just going to run downstairs and hide, but yeah, if I can't do that, and I'll just go up to Noakes and then march with them.
Don't get me wrong. I would definitely get a perverse satisfaction of actually running a legit combat in this scene. I just don't see it ending well for Birdie in any particular way. So yeah, Raazu, after you're locked in, a few moments later, they've dragged Birdie kicking and screaming down as well.
Do they leave the manacles on or they take them off?
No, he's too friggin' squirmy. He's a little buttery kobold. They just it's all they could do to get the door open and throw him into the brig and get it slammed before he slips back out.
What about Raazu? Do they leave manacles on her?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And the two of you are now bunkmates.
Did they disarm us? Or did they just, because it seems like they just threw us in there.
As far as I know, neither of you were armed at the time.
Only thing Raazu was carrying was her whip.
Okay.
I mean, I've got my thieves tools and stuff. So I'll pop open Rasu's manacles.
Okay. Windy and Adrex. When you awaken the next day, the whole ship is abuzz with the goings-on of the previous night.
Ugh.
I knew this was going to happen.
Is Adrex the adult of the party now?
I knew this was going to happen. Are they just in the brig? Is there chatter like, oh, and then
You hear lots and lots of different stories. You hear from one group that the Kobold was stealing all the rum and giving it to the Hobgoblin, and Noakes found out about it and dragged them both down and beat them bloody. You hear that the Kobold was trying to steal from the captain while the Hobgoblin was keeping lookout. You hear all kinds of stories.
I hate everything about this ship.
Never go anywhere nice.
Let's. All right. Adrex's plan is to talk to an NPC that doesn't piss him off.
Is there such a thing?
Probably going, at least at this point in his time, it's going to be all dash. So we'll see how this goes.
Okay, what's Windy's plan about this situation?
My plan is to make sure that Rhodos is still doing his research. Because Windy buys that this means something horrible is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And Windy's goal is to make sure that either Rhodos figures out what the hell is going to happen sooner than they get killed.
Okay.
Because
Sure
presumably, once we're able to kind of put two and two together and figure out what's actually going on, Rhodos can get them out of there.
Okay. So Adric's going to speak to Aldosh about it. He's heard about the goings-on, and he's not quite sure what to make of it. His initial... excuse me. Your initial impression is he's not quite sure why your friends would cause such a ruckus like that. Breaking into the captain's cabin is it's indefensible. It's beyond the pale. He's actually surprised that the order was to lock them up. So that's how the conversation starts.
And Adrex explains that it's the courage of their conviction, that the dream was incredibly vivid, and that these things do have a habit of becoming true, and it's because of the courage of their conviction that they felt the need to try to follow the chain of command, and once the chain of command failed, they took it upon themselves to try and tell the captain directly. Because there was no malicious intent involved. In fact, quite the opposite. It was nothing but extraordinary concern.
Aldosh seems sympathetic but unconvinced. I mean, from his perspective, it looks pretty cut and dry. They were trying to break into the captain's quarters for who knows what reason, got caught doing it, and then tried to fight their way out.
Well, like I said, courage of conviction in terms of finding their way out, but how many days do they have before what I assume is Ned Noakes throwing them overboard?
He says that Noakes won't do that without the captain say so.
Do you think the captain is concerned that we might be telling the truth, and that's why they're not dead immediately?
He says that he's known Captain Eyes. He actually doesn't refer to him as Captain Eyes in this context. He refers to him as Kelris. He's known Kelris for a very, very long time and considers him to be a good friend. And he's never known Kelris to do anything but have the best interests of this ship and its crew at heart.
Okay.
Wendy, you're greeted by Rhodos, and you hear, when you come in, he says, just the woman I wanted to see. I was wondering if I could ask to impose upon you to make a delivery for me.
What's the delivery?
And he hands you this water skin that has a cork very securely in it. And it's warm to the touch, whatever is inside this, some kind of liquid. Very warm, like maybe very recently boiling. And he says that he's done the preliminary checks into the astrological symbols required to divine the meaning of the dream that you brought to him last night. And that typically with members of the crew, he wouldn't take members this drastic. But considering that Raazu and Birdie, considering their recent demotion and the fact that they will very likely, in the short term, be conferred to the briny deep, as it were, I think we can expedite the process if you were to deliver this to them and have them drink it. I would say an 80-20 split of the contents, considering the weight advantage that the Hobgoblin has over the Kobolds, but I think this, and he still goes into this metaphysical explanation about how this particular concoction will debilitate them in some way, but also help them to interpret the dream.
Okay. To be clear here, though, they will then explain to us what they saw?
He says, to be perfectly honest, there is a very small chance that this particular concoction will... I don't know that I want to use the word death, but something very, very close to that is permanent. Like a very impossibly deep sleep. It's a very minute possibility, but you see why I wouldn't want to offer this to, say, you or Adrex, who still have important duties to perform aboard the ship.
Right. And you think that without this liquid, there's no way to find out what's going on?
Oh, there are many ways, of course. It's just last night's events have provided us an opportunity to expedite the process.
Sure. What if we just keep working on the other ways, though, and I don't give this to them? Because here's the thing, though, is if I do give this to them, right, and it does result in, say, a very deep sleep, somewhat near death forever, then how are we going to learn anything from them?
I see what you're saying. You're saying that the journey of the research could prove to be more enlightening than the sum of the...
Exactly, and we're just wasting resources if we almost
I'm sorry,
kill
my
them.
wife just interrupted by bringing me a big box with tape on it.
Nice. What's in the box?
Probably a gigantic heat sink with a fan attached to it and a tube of thermal paste, is my guess.
Why would you want to keep tape on that?
Well, I mean, I'm going to use this to repair my computer, and then I'm going to celebrate by drinking the thermal paste. I'm sorry for the interruption.
Thermal paste is delicious.
He
Don't eat
says
thermal
that
paste.
sometimes in these, he becomes overexcited when it comes
Right.
to these magical excursions, that perhaps a shortcut is not warranted at this juncture.
Sure, and I mean, if they're going to get thrown over the side, it's very difficult to throw someone who's gone very limp, so I'll just give it to them then.
He says, speaking of which, perhaps you can aid me in another matter.
Sure.
there's a particular concoction that requires ground hobgoblin teeth. The opportunity presents itself so rarely. I'm hoping, you being her friend at all, before she is
Sure.
conferred to the abyss, perhaps you could be persuaded to deliver Raazu's teeth to me.
No, absolutely. If she's going to get thrown over the brig, I will bring it up, and I will bring you those teeth.
And he said they will be incredibly helpful in his research.
No, sure. I'm.
What do you do with
Glad
the
I could
water
be of
skin
help.
that you're holding?
Oh God. Well, so here's the thing: is I think, and I realize this is untenable at this moment in time, but I think I would bring it to Red.
To what end? To determine like what it
To
does?
figure out what the hell is in this bag.
Let's figure out if it's how deadly the poison is.
How deadly the poison is, because let's be honest here, if anyone here is going to drink from this bag, it's going to be Wendy.
Right.
Do you drink from the water skin?
I don't.
Do you at
How
least get
deadly does it
Adrex?
Yeah. I can run it by Adrex too. He's a doctor.
So, one of the encounters I wanted to do today, I have in my little list here, is next on the list. But considering the state we've gotten the session into, I don't know whether or not it's appropriate to go forward with the encounter.
Why don't you give me the general gist of it?
So, do you have any other business with Rhodos after he gives you this
Gives
wineskin?
me this slop? No.
So do you take the wineskin or do you leave it with him?
Oh, I take it because, like I said, like this is Wendy we're talking about. If anyone's going to drink this wineskin, it's going to be her.
Okay.
It's just a question of Wendy's not sure how serious Rhodos is about this actually helping. Because if she got the idea that, like, it was actually genuinely going to fix this problem and did have only a small chance of failure, she would drink it. But she also thinks he's a fucking liar.
Yeah, he's totally a fucking flake.
Make an insight check. You're not proficient in Arcana, are you?
No.
Okay, just make an insight check.
It's 27.
Man, that
Rhodos
rolls
is
in.
both convinced that this situation is genuine and urgent,
Yeah.
and he's convinced that this substance can help.
Okay.
He believes both of these things to be true.
Yeah.
However, he also takes to heart this suggestion that taking this short way out may be less enlightening. Like, it seems very easy to convince him of that.
I think the way that Wendy is going to run this then is that. Do you mind if I say something very basic involving Red?
Depends
Or
on what it
actually,
is.
no, I think I could do this with Adrex.
Okay.
I'm going to
Still
drink
gotta make it
this.
basic.
I'm going to drink this substance, right?
How much
Mhm.
of it?
How
he
much does Raazu weigh compared to me? I think probably I'm about double a Birdie weight.
Okay.
Because he's about 40 pounds and I'm about 80.
If
I
you were to
think
drink
what-
less than half of this water skin, you would be consuming about twice as much as he had planned for
Birdie.
Birdie.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll do. And I'll probably go to Adrex and get him to watch over me. And if I'm out for like more than to a point where it becomes life threatening,
Mhm.
to give me something to make me vomit.
Okay.
You got it. I can do that.
So where are you consuming this? In your quarters?
I think probably the safest place is in the surgery.
In the
Yeah.
surgery?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Do you
that
want
way,
the
if
astronauts here?
Sweetie Bird comes by wondering why I'm not working, he can show her he fucking unconscious. Be like, yeah, she's sick.
Oh, I assure you, Sweetie Bird does not.
care. I know. That's why I thought this. You may have noticed I did not go to tell her.
Okay. Yashnars asks you what this concoction is made of before you consume it in his presence.
And I say, I'm not sure, but Rhodos is convinced that it will both give us information that will help us solve this dream issue, and also that I will then be able to give you that information so it won't kill me.
When you uncork this water skin, you are overwhelmed by this just putrid, just very densely kind of ammonia scent coming out of it. It is awful.
Alright, well, I'm drinking it.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
You got
You don't get +3 for this.
Oh, you're right, I should have drunk it in the prison.
They should have went down to the brig, like knock on the brig, like Raazu, stand on the other side of this door.
Stand on the other side of this door and glower for me.
And actually, it would be +4 if you were next to Raazu now. That's my charisma went up.
The hell did I just throw?
Does it not work unless Raazu was glowering?
Well, most of her spells.
Mm.
So that's a 10.
Adrex,
Yeah.
make a dexterity check.
Oh no.
Probably got one more. I know what's happening.
8.
An 8. Wendy consumes some of this, and for a second, nothing happens. Then you see her. Well, she doesn't have eyes. That doesn't work. Then you see her waver a bit on her feet, and she collapses very quickly to the ground. You're not fast enough to dive forward and catch the rest of this substance before it hits the ground and spills across the floor.
He can make more.
I know what ammonia is.
And yeah, Wendy
Honestly-
just collapsed.
Adrex would catch Wendy before catching the substance.
You not with an 8, you don't.
But yeah, okay. Just so we're clear.
It's okay, I'm very light.
What do you do with Wendy?
Pick her up, put her on the bed,
Okay.
or whatever we've got in this thing that would make patients comfortable. Would it just be a table? I guess it would just be a table. It's unfortunate.
Just a table in the surgery. Okay, you lay her
Yeah.
out. And how long do you wait before administering something?
What are
Actually,
her
make me a
vitals
medicine
like?
check before
Okay.
anything.
It's 13.
As far as you can tell, she just seems to be sleeping. She's breathing kind of normally. There doesn't seem to be anything oozing out of any particular orifices. I mean, no more than usual.
Her vitals seem okay though.
Her vitals seem okay. Yes, Dr. House, she's fine.
Yeah. Adrex could take a pulse, I would think.
I don't know that a pulse was part of medieval medicine, though.
She
suppose
has
not.
Avis. It's never Avis.
I actually don't know anything about medieval medicine. That's probably something I should
Can I
study
see
up.
her breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing. She doesn't
Okay.
seem to be in any particular distress.
She have a boo-boo.
Usually, though, Wendy sleeps very lightly. And this might be like the deepest, like the most out you've ever seen her. Like, she is zonked.
Okay.
Yashnar sets to work cleaning up the mess on the ground. And he seems to kind of defer to you as to how long you're going to let this go on. So yeah, now how long, knowing that, do you wait before you step in and do something?
Well, let's do a short rest. Let's do an hour.
Do an hour, and
Yeah.
after an hour, there's no change.
Yeah. At that point, Adrex would try to wake her up.
After an hour?
Yeah.
So you find some kind of solvent or unguent amongst Yashnar's stores that, when applied, will make her vomit.
Okay.
Wendy, make another Constitution saving throw. Make this one at advantage.
Okay. 16.
16. Winnie doesn't really have a nose to hold, so you just kind of put your fingers over the holes in her beak while you pour this this vomity substance into her throat. You massage her throat to make sure she swallows it, and after a few moments, she does begin sputtering and coughing. You turn her over, and she vomits, and she starts to wake. And Wendy, you feel incredibly sick. Is the first difference. You don't feel any other immediate difference, but you have this very unshakable sensation that someone is trying to tell you something.
Sorry,
I think the way Wendy would deal with this is first she would thank Adrex.
Sorry, you were gone for an hour. I didn't know how much longer I should wait.
If I wanted to... I went to a doctor because I figured you would have the best way of gauging. If I wanted to second guess you, I should have gone to someone else. And Wendy will, like, kind of unsteadily make her way back to whatever bed she was resting on.
Okay.
And I think she's going to try to spend the day, because she's sure as hell not going back to Sweetie Bird right now, meditating.
Okay.
Trying to tune into whatever it is in her brain that is trying to tell her something.
And it's usually you're able to just clear your mind, do the techniques taught to you by your masters and meditate. But maybe it's because you're feeling sick, or maybe something else happened, but you just can't. You're just so restless. No matter how still you try to make your mind or body, you catch your leg bouncing, or like your beak chattering together, or your wings flexing. It's just you're not able to relax in order to.
Do I feel like it's something like I want to get up and go do something?
You don't feel any particular compulsion to go do something. It's more like a kid on Christmas morning, but you're not allowed to go downstairs yet.
I think what I would do then is ask Adrex if he has any normal sort of medications that can help me sleep. Because when I first got this dream, I was sleeping. So maybe I have to be sleeping again in order to figure out anything else.
The best Yashnars can do there is just very strong wine.
Yeah, we've got, and Adrex has been storing the rum that Birdie was giving him, so there's that too.
Adrex, like,
Okay,
I
but
have
here's the
all
thing: is
rum.
2 members of our crew are currently locked up because they think we've been stealing rum.
This is the best thing ever.
Wine it is.
And I think that's what I'm going to be spending the rest of the day doing then, is trying to find a way to get some sleep.
Okay. Raazu and Birdie,
Hey.
you hear a voice on the other side of the door, and you realize it's Sweetie Bird.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, like, you're not going to try to jump on top of me when I open the door and run away, right?
Raazu glares at Birdie, waits for a response from him. Raazu shakes her head very slowly.
Well, she can't see you because you're on the other side of the door.
I know. No, I'm communicating with Birdie silently
okay.
before I respond. Does
Fine.
Birdie nod?
Yeah.
Okay. Raazu calls out, "Yes, we're staying right here."
She says that this has never happened before, but Calcine asked me to bring you your dinner. So I'm just going to open the door and set it inside, okay?
All right.
No need to pull my tail or anything.
Adrex isn't in here with us, last I checked.
And then you hear her say, okay, go ahead and open the door. You hear the lock turn in the door, and it opens. And Birdie, what do you do?
By the way, if Birdie had tried to remove the manacles on Raazu's wrist, she would refuse to let him try.
I mean, Birdie just walks forward and gets his dinner.
Okay. What she places on the floor is just like a small pan with a cloth over it. It's piping hot. And this strikes you as very strange because even when you weren't prisoners in the brig, you weren't eating hot food. You were eating.
You were eating like porridge and shit, right?
Yeah, jerky and hardtack. And she just sets it on the floor. And she's here with two of the bugbears. One of them has the jailer's keys. And she says from Lady Calcine. And then the door is closed and you hear the lock turn again. And they move away and leave.
Raazu scooches over to the to where Birdie's at and says, "Huh, got someone's favor, I think." What? And Raazu nods to the pan and says, "What's in there?"
Birdie's already eating it.
It's already gone. Razu's like, well, damn it. So yeah, Birdie, you take the cloth off, and it's some kind of pie.
That's very suspicious.
Piping hot. Just made.
Birdie pulls the knife he had hidden out and he cuts it in half and he gives half of it to Raazu.
She can't. Her arms are manacled behind her back.
Well,
Raazu chews as
Shove
best
it
she
into her
can.
mouth.
well, in that case, like, I guess I'll just try feeding Raazu.
Yeah, and it's a kind of savory fish pie that tastes delectable and is much better than you've eaten since you've been on this ship.
Birdie will eat the other half.
Okay?
That's a last meal.
And it's a fine, fine meal for both of you.
And then Birdie is going to look at, how much of a gap is between the floor and the bottom of the...
None. There's you could slide a piece of paper under it potentially, but if you worked diligently, you might be able to slip the tip of your knife under it. But
No, I was going to see. I'm trying to see if there's anybody outside.
as far as you can tell, no. I mean, you listen at the door. You roll a perception check.
Okay. That's a 12.
Okay, and it's never silent aboard the ship. There's always creaking and listing and the sound of wind and water outside. But you don't hear anybody on the other side of the door after Sweetie Bird and the bugbears leave.
I mean, Birdie starts is the door still locked?
Oh yeah, they relocked it after they put the pie down.
Do it. I can leave if you want. I can get us out of here.
Where are you going to go? Where are we going to go?
I don't know. That's a
So
good
yeah,
question.
that's why you think before you do things, Birdie.
That never got me anywhere. So, do you at least want me to take the manacles off now?
No, because eventually Noakes is going to come down here, see that I'm not manacled, and then we're both going to get beat for it.
I mean, if he comes down here to throw us overboard, you're just gonna sit there and let him?
No. I'll go down
Yes.
fighting.
With the manacles on your hands.
Absolutely.
I wish Adrex was here.
If you want, you can tell him he's been stealing rum. You can tell him you can confess that Adrex is the one who's been stealing the rum.
Birdie thinks about that for a moment. No, that's a terrible idea.
Raazu nods. I thought so. See, that's what happens when you think about things. You realize that ideas are stupid sometimes.
To be clear, you both ate this pie.
Yep.
Okay.
That was not ominous at all.
Entirely fine.
I love how
Yeah.
when Red is not here is when everybody gets poisoned and
Brickwood planned this. Brickwood planned it. That's what it is. He's secretly got it out for all of us.
It's always with poison too, because it was when Riot wasn't here that we went to the poison forest.
Or Nick, you mean? Or Orphan? Jade Bull?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so easy to poison you guys when Red's not here.
Extremely poisonable.
Yeah.
Adrex and Wendy, you guys doing anything else suspicious or hilarious in the remainder of today?
No, I think I've had my suspicious / hilariousness for the day.
Okay.
Adrix is looking over Wendy. So, what does Aldash think of Adrix's? I want to implement a doctor's office on the ship, essentially.
He doesn't really see the point in it.
Okay.
He appreciates the concern, but like his primary concern is that the people on the ship are keeping things running smoothly. As long as everybody's doing their job and can pull their weight, he doesn't see why anybody should be discontent.
I actually do have something potentially hilarious that I do want to do.
Oh.
So if I have my pack on me, which I do because I had a rope and all that, then I had a trap that I had prepared previously. I want to set it in front of the door.
Raazu absolutely refuses to let you do that.
Like, you're manacled, you can't stop me.
That's true.
My legs aren't manacled.
So, Birdie, you try to set this trap up, and Raazu just starts kicking you to death.
Like, go over in the corner. If you want them to freaking throw you overboard, do that. That's your business.
Adrex.
Yes.
That evening, after most of the officers have had their meal, after Scampers has come in and asked for his medicine and taken off again, Calcine pays you a visit.
Uh-oh.
She comes in,
Okay.
looking as absolutely gorgeous as ever. And she tells you that the captain is inclined to allow you and Windy to advocate on behalf of your companions. And then she looks at Yashnars for a moment, and then back at you, and says, between you and I, this is going to be a difficult conversation. The captain was good enough to bring you aboard the vessel, the 5 of you, and within 2 weeks' time, 3 of you have been mischievous.
That's fair, I guess.
Oh, thanks for the advocacy there, Adrex.
I mean, it is fair.
She tells you, well, first she asks you if you're inclined to take this opportunity. Is this something...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that no question, yes.
And she sighs, and it's the kind of sigh that's like, why is he making this more difficult than it has to be? She says that one of Noakes's men will be stationed at this door here, these stairs leading down into the stores, with instructions to bring you and Windy to the brig, where you can await the captain, and he will hear your advocacy apart from prying eyes and ears.
Sounds good to me.
Having delivered this message, she bids a fond evening to Yashnars, and Yashnars just gives her a gruff nod, and she leaves. And you can see that Yashnars is just staring at you at this point.
Adrex stares at her
Well, Calcine
as she
leaves.
leaves.
Yeah.
As she leaves.
Are you trying
Yeah.
to check out her butt as she's going?
Yeah.
It's nice. You could bounce a quarter off of it.
Oh, I'm such an elf expert. Then Adrex looks at Yashnars and goes, "What?"
He says that he's never known these particular circumstances to happen before. He says that Captain Eyes is a more generous captain than aboard some other vessels that he's served on, but he's still not the kind of man that would suffer indignities and indiscretions aboard his vessel.
Well, he also prizes the vessel as the most thing he prizes is his vessel. If he feels that if it's in danger, then he's inclined to believe us. And I have a feeling he thinks that we're onto something.
So what's next?
Man, Adrex is the adult. This is weird.
I don't like this.
Adrex makes a fart joke too, because it's funny.
The Nurse does not appreciate the fart joke.
Ugh. That's those Paladin of Osprey. They're all dicks.
Oh, my headset died. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Back. Adrex will tell Windy the news.
Okay.
Going to advocate on behalf of Raazu and Birdie.
Well, we can give it a shot. We can at least try to see if we can buy them any more time until whatever ominous event is going to happen happens.
Think we instigate it?
Oh, but I don't want to instigate having to hang you.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think Adrex is anything else he wants to do.
Okay.
So when are we supposed to go meet them then?
This evening.
This
Tonight after
evening.
the captain awakens.
Okay.
And one of Nox's men is indeed waiting for you when you approach. He's been instructed to let you down into the stores.
Excellent. To the stores.
I love stores.
Raazu and Birdie, you both hear people approaching, footsteps. Outside the door.
Raazu straightens up, stares at the door.
Birdie's back in the corner.
Adrex and Windy, you arrive at the door to the brig.
Did he set the trap? Because Adrex is walking in first.
Well, the brig's still locked. The door's not open.
Okay.
The question is, what would be the funniest thing to happen?
That's what I asked. He set up a trap
Again,
that Adrex snaps into.
Raazu would refuse to allow Birdie to do this.
Okay.
I'm still
already
not
made
clear on
enough
how
for-
you could stop him. Like, kick him unconscious?
Squeeze his neck in a scissor hold.
Yeah, when they come in and that's what they're doing. She has me in a scissor leg hold.
See, as you guys approach the door to the brig, you hear some kind of strange commotion on the other side of it.
No, it's not that strange.
It sounds like Birdie's trying to set a trap and Raazu's trying to put him in a scissor hold.
This is fun.
Raazu,
I like messes.
we're coming through.
Do I hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Raazu knees Birdie in like the shin or something and says, "Okay, let's knock it off."
You guys aren't waiting more than 5 or 10 minutes before the captain and Calcine join you downstairs, coming in through this door here. The captain turns and locks the door behind him. And looks at Adrex and Windy. Ah, excellent. You received my message. Then he
Very kind of you to let us advocate on their behalf.
gestures at the door to the brig. Says, "Shall we?"
Sure.
Sure.
He takes his key, walks over, unlocks the door. What is happening inside this room when the door opens? There's pie everywhere and like a broken trap.
Raazu's got Birdie pinned underneath her.
She's just sitting on Birdie.
And the captain looks at the spectacle inside the room. And he says,
Birdie waves.
I half expected for the little one to break the big one out of her manacles.
Birdie pipes in. I tried.
Adrex slaps his head.
He turns back
No,
to
I mean, I
Calcine,
expected it too.
and he nods once. She takes a scroll out from one of the folds in her robes, opens it, reads the rolls on it, the words on it. The scroll is consumed in flame, and suddenly things get very, very quiet. You can no longer hear the creaking of the ship or the water splashing against the hull outside. You can no longer hear the din of the men and the footfalls on the decks above you. And when the captain turns again and begins to speak, his voice sounds very muted, like it's very far away. And he says, I offer my apologies for what had to transpire on the deck.
And I apologize too.
What doesn't the crew know?
He says that perhaps this may sound strange, but the other night he had the most curious dream. And he begins to describe the same vision that you all had, with the exception that he was the one on the deck, and you all were
Who
hanging
were the
down.
crew members that we saw hung?
I'm not going to do this off memory because I want to make sure I get this right, because it's pretty important.
Yeah,
It was the captain,
yeah.
Calcine, Noakes, Yashnars, and the four of you.
We spoke to Yashnars, and he hadn't had this dream. So that means it wasn't everyone listed there.
The captain says perhaps you have found it. At this point, he's invited Raazu and Birdie to come outside of the brig into this storeroom here.
Raazu lets Birdie up and then stands up herself.
Do you let Birdie undo the manacles now?
I'll let the captain do that.
He doesn't.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not gonna do it either now. She missed the boat. The boat's gone.
Yeah.
The boat has sailed away.
This is a pretty serious situation, but the captain's also a very jovial man. So if you just want to sit there in manacles, he doesn't see any reason to stop you. He tells you that perhaps there's been some concerns amongst some of his more senior officers, predominantly Aldosh and Noakes, the ones he's closest to, the ones who have served him the longest. And perhaps you all may as well have thought it strange how quickly he was to take on 5 new junior officers and put them into positions of power aboard the ship. How quickly the process went.
I had thought it strange too.
He had me scrubbing decks.
As I said, people that are important in positions of power, yes.
He tells you that he had Red rowing the ship.
She didn't put a toe out of line. It was like she wasn't even here. What? I always want to say she when I say Red. It just doesn't seem like a man's name.
Red is kind of androgynous, I think Destil has said.
He tells you that many months ago, after their last big haul, they had taken down a merchant vessel outside of Melvin Ponce that was transferring elvish wine. That the ship surrendered very quickly. Their captain and crew laid down arms. They came aboard the ship, took several dozen casks of this fine wine aboard, and let them live with a very low bow, thanked them, and said it was a pleasure doing business, and they look forward to seeing them again. He has a friend, whose name he doesn't know. He knows her only as the wise old turtle. That she's been alive many hundreds of years. That there are elves walking the Underdark that would consider the wise old turtle to be very old. She lives on a almost deserted island in a cave, and that most of the pirates know her to be a great seer. The captain's not a superstitious man, particularly, but from time to time he does go to her and have her do auguries or visions. But he knows that she's very partial to fine luxuries like this. She takes payment in the types of drink that he just came into possession of. And since they were in the area, he thought perhaps he should pay her a visit to stay in her good graces. And she told him that he had a vicious traitor amongst his officers. Something more dangerous than simple mutiny. Something that would strike at the heart of the safety of the oceans.
So, I'm thinking. So you are you saying that you think that that this augury that she cast and our dreams might be related then?
He says for the first couple of months, he and Calcine looked into this as best they could without rousing suspicions. They didn't even bring on Aldosh or Noakes, because what if they were the traitor? They would be alerted. But nothing else seemed out of sorts, nothing amongst the officers. Captain Eyes is very well loved among the crew, and so is Calcine. And that things seemed very copacetic. But it kept gnawing at him. You were saying?
Perhaps the traitor doesn't know that they're a traitor. They may be a sleeper agent. Raazu briefly describes the dominate person spell that she's able to cast,
Mm-hmm.
and then says, perhaps someone's able to do this from, say, a great distance. I'm pretty sure you've made no small amount of enemies on the ocean.
He says no small amount indeed.
Yeah.
But until he met with the wise old turtle, he had not considered the possibility that he had made any enemies aboard his own ship. He tells you when Sweetie Bird came to him and said that there were these 5 adventurers of some renown that were looking to come aboard the vessel. He decided to take the opportunity to bring new eyes aboard who could look at the situation freshly. He considers you lot to be extremely mischievous, always poking your nose where they don't belong.
Sure.
Not listening to orders,
fair.
possibly.
Yeah.
Not a
Kicking
guilty as
up,
charged.
kicking up strange, like putting a strange regiment during the night shift.
Yeah. Problems with authority.
Weird ideas about mental and spiritual health.
And physical.
However, one thing he can be assured of, though a lot of you may be greedy villains here to take his treasure, to slay his quartermaster, to take control of his magic, to break his locks, to disobey his orders.
Right.
None of the 5 of you could possibly be the traitor spoken of by the wise old turtle.
Unless she was seeing the future.
And he says that's an excellent point. Marches all 5 of you into the brig.
Oh, where did Red come from?
Oh, he's here now. Fuck him.
Well, at least we got that going for us.
Yeah.
He says this dream he had didn't come to him until a couple of days ago. And the timeline roughly matches up to when you all saw it as well. He says usually in matters of magic like this, he and his navigator, the beautiful Calcine, are in close synchronicity, but this time they're not. She did not have the dream. Only the captain did. And as far as he can tell, none of the other officers or anyone else aboard the ship has, except for you lot.
But we
So
saw
that-
Calcine dead in the vision.
We saw Calcine, we saw Yashnars, we saw Noakes, right?
Don't mind me, I have angered the lightning gods.
Of course you have.
Yes, Calcine, Noakes, Yashnars, and the captain, and then the 4 of you, and then the Quicksilver doll.
Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
Who are you talking to?
The captain. Could we see your magic symbol?
Again?
He's already showed it to
Did we ever see it?
Yeah, he showed
Yeah,
it.
we did.
Oh, he did show it to
It was
us.
on the palm of his hand.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me look that one up real quick.
It's right up. Just go in the chat and it's up a little bit.
Oh, it's not
Yeah.
in the...
Aldash is not in this stream, though.
Aldosh, yeah.
No, he's not. Noakes was.
What does Calcium's symbol look like, then?
We don't know.
Do you ask her?
Yeah.
And she chuckles lightly and tells you that her mark is in a location that she's disinclined to share with people she doesn't know well. She says
And-
very wryly.
Wendy will tell her briefly about the thing that we had heard about what each of the symbols represent and how there might be a conflict in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, Raazu would probably be the one to speak up about that since she's the one who directly had the conversation. But she doesn't say...
Wendy's the one who spoke up about it because she's doing it right now. And she says that we happen to know for a fact that those symbols can be changed and modified. So it's possible that although currently right now someone might end up on a separate side, that doesn't need to be the case permanently. And I was just wondering if your symbol matched with any others on this ship, if we could do some sort of cross-section and figure out why some people had this dream and some did not.
Let's see, so...
He seems to be mulling this over in his head in deep consideration.
I think Adrex at a point. We should be looking at the people who did not appear in the dream.
But then you could.
I think we should just be looking at everyone and like trying to make it match up.
Listen, we can always push Noakes off as we get off the boat.
Raazu kicks Birdie.
Like, I'm not the one that said, but then we would... Never mind.
The captain looks then at Raazu and Birdie and says that he's going to suggest to Ned Noakes that the two of you be returned to service. That unlike your thieving Yuan-ti companion, the two of you were merely trying to bring to his attention something that you deemed important.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst the crew and the men, it's going to be explained that, of course, this was merely a strange dream that the two of you experienced, and that you now realize it is of no importance.
Okay.
Because we're going to return to a semblance of normalcy. The more normal we can make our experience, the more likely you can help me see the thing that I'm not seeing.
Agreed.
Then he looks over at Adrex to read his reaction.
I can't believe Adrex is going to say this.
Yeah, go for it.
Captain, with all due respect, if there's to be any sort of semblance of return to normalcy, then Raazu and Birdie should probably be punished for what they did. So, if there is something happening amongst the crew, this would make it way less suspicious and way less out of order.
Birdie slams his fist on the ground and says, "Objection!"
Raazu considers it and then nods to Adrex and says, "Yeah, hate to say it, but he's right."
Don't go along with this. No.
I have an idea.
Yeah,
There's going to.
There's the thunder
No,
god.
because you guys did yell about and scream about a dream, didn't you? Well, no, never mind. All right, yeah.
The captain raises his hand, and you can see that he's very entertained by this suggestion. And he says that he's going to reprimand Noakes for dismissing your concerns. Baseless though they are, his flippancy towards Raazu especially, who the captain has placed in a particular position on the ship, is not appropriate. And Noakes will bristle at this reprimand, and the men will see him taken down a peg, and then their captain will tell them that there's no need for Raazu and Birdie to be punished. And anyone who has issue with that can bring it to me.
That is a way better idea. That's a great idea, and I endorse it wholeheartedly.
Raazu nods. Well, you know your crew better than we do, so if they'll buy it, then by all means.
Of course, we have also heard that there are elements among the goblinoid society that enjoys being punished. So if you would like, just say the word, and I'm sure we can arrange for some sport.
I mean, she did break my trap.
And they look down on the ground where this broken trap is sitting.
Birdie shrugs and says, "I was not going to let you take me and throw me into the ocean without at least fighting back. I'm
Where are you
sorry.
gonna go?
It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to voice my actual plan because you would all then hate me."
Birdie, that's ridiculous. If you're gonna trap someone in the future, at least have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
Well,
The captain
I mean,
tells you that it's the nature of the business he's in to work with villains from time to time, and that he's well acquainted with the situation. He looks forward to you all helping him in this matter, but if perhaps he could make a small request and refrain from causing a scene aboard the ship in the future, that would be most helpful for his cause.
what? We don't make scenes.
Raazu stares at Birdie like, do you not even?
No self-awareness whatsoever going on right now.
I just think a really positive and healthy ship would increase productivity 100-fold. That's all. Trying to do the right thing.
Does anybody else have anything you want to raise with the captain?
Birdie says, "Oh yeah, by the way, somebody is stealing rum. Like, just so you know."
That's gonna happen, Birdie. And it isn't
I know.
you, is it?
I don't drink.
Then where are you taking your rations?
I'm giving them to him.
Okay, so maybe you misunderstood. My question was, do you have anything else for the captain?
You said this.
Oh,
and then-
Birdie does have a question. He says, "What?" Birdie raises his hand. What was the goggles for? Did they do something, or do the goggles do nothing?
God damn it!
Oh my god.
Treble, you're fired. Get out of the game now.
No, for real though. I want to know what the
He's
goggles
back
are.
in the break.
He tells you perhaps he can arrange a demonstration with the understanding that if these goggles were to disappear or become damaged, he's going to turn you over to Noakes after this very public and very humiliating reprimand and relinquish you to his care.
I mean, okay, that's fair. I do want to see what they do.
So what the captain says does come to pass. The next evening, as the sun's going down, he does reprimand Noakes in front of the other officers and some of the other men about not taking these concerns seriously. He does return Raazu and Birdie to service, and you can see Noakes doesn't like any part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be there for that.
Okay.
Wendy's trying her best to not be anywhere nearby every time the party pisses off Noakes, because she figures at some point someone might have to talk to him.
Okay. Birdie. The next morning, Calcine rouses you from your bunk, and she's holding the glasses, and she tells you to follow her above deck.
I do so.
And it's as uncomfortable as it ever is, coming out into the bright sunlight of early morning. But when she puts these glasses on, and they're very uncomfortable, I mean, they're not built for your size head, but she straps them onto your head, and the smoke of these glasses, essentially this removes disadvantage that drow and kobolds would have in direct daylight.
They're sunglasses.
Yeah, basically, they're sunglasses. They have some other properties, but you don't know what they are. And she seems very happy to demonstrate this. Like, this is a show of, like, oh, the captain has so many magical trinkets that he can just show them off to his deck swabs when he wants.
Cool.
So one last thing we'll do this week. Who is on the on the deck or in the forecastle in the afternoon that day? I'm assuming at this point Birdie is sleeping again? Or breaking into somewhere?
I would imagine that Noakes is doubled his efforts to make Raazu miserable.
No, actually, after that reprimand, if anything, he seemed to lay off.
Like, I will say that Birdie is probably, like, now that he knows the password, he is probably going to be more watchful to get into here.
Into where? Do you go to the door and try the password?
I mean, is he there? I'm gonna knock first.
I mean, if you go to see Rhodos, yeah, he'll be there during the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll just go to sleep then.
Okay.
Birdie's just waiting for an opportunity.
Yeah,
So
Raazu
who-
would be asleep and then as well.
Wendy and Adrex.
Yeah.
I'm going about your duties on the deck. It's late afternoon, and you hear a call from the crow's nest. C is up there, and she calls out, "I've spotted the butt pirates!"
What?
The do what now?
The what?
Pardon?
The butt pirates.
Raazu, you're asleep. You didn't hear any of that.
No, this is McDohl musing on this.
Did you say the butt pirates?
Are you? Well, I mean, you can't ask her. She's in the crow's nest, and you're down in the.
Oh, I'm
surgery.
flying up there. I need to know.
You're flying up there,
Yeah.
I mean, that's also not going to stop Adrex from saying it.
and she, you look through her spyglass, and you can't see anything because you don't have any eyes.
I mean, she does have eyes. They're just in Adrex's pack.
Adrex, what are you doing?
Adrex is staring upward at the crow's nest in disbelief.
And after a few more minutes, Adrex, looking out, it's a clear day, and you can see what looks like just a giant butt. Two large humps poking up out of the water, floating kind of lazily towards the ship. And there's a lot of commotion on the deck at this point. Cargo is being dragged up out of the holds. Lots of men who are down below decks in the crew quarters asleep. Birdie, you're probably roused when word reaches the quarters that butt pirates have been spotted, and some of the night shift workers have started collecting up their coin and heading up to the tops of the deck.
The phrase "butt pirates" would have gotten me out of bed. Yes.
Adrex is in
Would that have roused
hysterics.
Raazu as well?
He cannot stop laughing.
And yeah, this enormous, just gluteus maximus continues to float towards the ship. And it takes a little while, because, I mean, C saw them with her spyglass, and she's got excellent eyesight. So it's a good long while before they get close enough. Looking out, Adrex, not Birdie, because it's fucking daylight, and you're a kobold, you can't see. But looking out, it looks like a giant rock shaped like somebody's butt poking up out of the water, and you see little structures built on it, and you see there's maybe 6 or 7 goblins riding on this thing. And eventually the butt pirates float up towards the deck. Do you make any inquiries, or are you just watching this unfold?
Raazu-
No, Adrex is. He can't. He's laughing. It's
Raazu
Winnie's
comes up.
making all of the inquiries.
Raazu does what?
Raazu would be roused. She comes up, and then
Raazu.
she's like, Raazu. And then she'd ask one of the night crew that she's been working with, what is this even?
It's explained that the butt pirates, they call themselves the Virtgiert. They're a group of goblins that are known to be friends to all pirates on the sea. They ride on the back of an enormous sea turtle that just happens to look like a butt, which gave them that name. And they always have
Virtgiert?
the Virtgiert. That's what the goblins call themselves. None of the crew on board the Deceit call them that, because they are very clearly the butt pirates.
Okay.
And yeah, these are just a group of goblins who, they don't fly particular colors, they don't have any particular allegiance. They're kind of known to be off limits. Nobody attacks them. But they always have excellent trade. They always have excellent cargo. They are on good terms with a race called the Tritons. Tritons are known to be Southlings. They're aquatic Southlings. They live in the southern seas. So kind of typically you would look upon them the same way you would humans and dwarves. But the Tritons of the far north will sometimes do trade with various northern pirate crews. And the butt pirates especially are known to be on very good terms, which means they always have a great deal of fresh fish and squid, very exotic aquatic spices, different kinds of shells that when ground up have hallucinogenic properties, and the best of the lot is their green grog, which is an especially potent and fruity libation that's made from deep undersea vegetation. And so all of the crew of the Deceit is up here with what cargo and coin they have to take on some amount of this green grog.
Where's the party loot at?
Same place it always is.
Can you link that to me, please?
No. Yeah.
Or at least put it in the
I think Raazu wants to spend our money.
maybe.
Adrex wants to spend his money too.
What are you guys buying from the butt pirates?
2
casks of this green grog are brought on board by Aldosh and taken down to the ship stores. They trade some just various cargo for it. They're not giving them coin for it.
Do they accept coin?
Sure. They'll accept anything valuable.
Like, they have anything, they have anything interesting for sale?
What are you looking for?
I don't know. I'm browsing.
What kind of spices do they have?
Uh,
Anything that we don't have?
yes. I mean, they have like all the standard kind of stuff, and Sweetie Bird is one of the people up there trading with them. They have a lot kind of the standard stuff. They do have a great deal of Southling spices, Elvish and Dwarvish spices. Simply because these are the kinds of things that get into the hands of Tritons, and then they can get into the hands of the butt pirates from there. But more than
I'm
that,
gonna
they
watch
get...
Sweetie Bird, because I know for a fact there's no possible way she has enough money to buy everything that she wants to buy.
Oh, very, very not. She
And then
absolutely
I'm going
does
to
not.
buy some of the stuff that she wishes that she had the money to buy.
Do you do this in front of her?
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell her I'm willing to share as long as she'll teach me how to cook with it.
That might be the meanest thing Wendy's ever done.
I don't think Wendy's being mean here.
How much do you spend on spices?
How much we got?
A lot. You guys got a big payment from Severus, and then on top of that, you also scammed Nuga and his orcs.
We did.
It is storming so hard.
I was
outside,
planning
I'm
on
so
spending the last, 10 plat here on my cooking training. Can I count this as my purchase of the cooking supplies?
sorry. Yeah, that's fine, but you're not going to have any ability to actually advance the training yet.
That's fine.
Yeah, you can make a note that's what the expenditure is for.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, this green grog, is it potent or is it just delectable?
Both.
Okay.
This is made by Tritons deep underwater, where they live close to like volcanic sea vents down in like the abyssal plain. And
So, okay.
they imbibe it in a place where the pressure is very great, and for some reason drinking it above sea level makes it more potent.
Okay. So, to continue on a theme,
Yeah, Adrex needs to get back to brewing stuff.
yeah,
This is what our characters care about.
Adrex is curious about one. So the curiosity is to one, how it's made, and see if.
Oh,
What?
they don't have any idea. These are the butt pirates.
Okay.
They don't have any
Well,
clue how
Adrex
it's
is still
made.
gonna take them.
Here's how
But
it's
he's
made.
also-
They go to the Tritons and give them stuff, and then they get it from them. That's how it's
Alright.
made.
Fair enough. But Adrex will buy some both for himself to study, and also as part of being a surgeon, anything that helps get a patient knocked out and can perform surgery on is also. So.
You are going to get a rash of people with ouchies and boo-boos.
Well, no, ouchies and boo-boos are fine. We're saving this stuff for the real, like we got to hack off his limb. You better start drinking this because this is gonna hurt.
This is for the messed up stuff.
Yeah, they can have maybe like some of the rum that Birdie's not been stealing for the ouchies and the boo-boos.
Do any of you four speak Goblin?
Raazu does.
Raazu, Aldosh speaks extremely good Goblinly and is having a conversation with them. Not only is he speaking excellent Goblin, he's also speaking very informally, which is very strange for Aldosh. But like you can see that he's kind of joining these goblins on their level in a very familiar way. Just kind of trading news, what they've seen on the seas. And what you're able to glean is that the Butt Pirates have very recently had a brush with a ship called the Blue Nixie.
Blue Nixie.
Which attempted... I know, it's... That's part of the name of the ship now. It's the Blue Nixie, then Thunder.
Ominous thunder.
Yes.
Ominous.
Dun 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 dun. And when they were done trading, the Blue Nixie very swiftly launched an attack against them and attempted to take all of the cargo. The goblins, for their part, kind of battened down their hashes, and they managed to escape by having their sea turtle dive down into the ocean and flee the vessel. When they did that, the Blue Nixie went so far as to drop essentially depth charges. With that, you hear Aldosh make a couple more transactions, and the Butt Pirates give him a very heavy bag of coin. And you see him go up towards the forecastle. I mean, everybody sees him goes up to the forecastle. And after a few moments, Aldosh comes back out and he yells out across the entire rest of the crew. Later on, after all the trade is over, he calls out, "We're setting a course to find the Blue Nixie. Everyone prepare for battle."
Raazu nods, cracks her knuckles.
So, absent the spices and the drink and everything, I will allow everybody for 50 gold apiece. You can buy an as yet unidentified butt pirate trinket to be determined at a later date.
Oh,
When it
I
becomes
absolutely
relevant.
will.
I think everyone in the party is going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
Should
just
we
delighted.
account for red?
I'll
Yeah.
give Red the option when he comes back next week. I'll just.
Oh
ask
no,
Okay.
we'll just do it in a suit.
Yeah.
So 250 gold. Everybody gets a butt tire trinket.
Yeah.
I'm delighted that for some reason everybody's gonna have the words "butt pirate trinket" written on their character sheet.
How could you
How much was
custom
a,
items?
so how much was a casket of the green grog?
If you're buying in coin, we're gonna say 100.
Okay, yeah. Adrex will buy 2 caskets of the stuff.
And Wendy, you spent how much on spices and stuff?
I mean, we've got plenty, and he's spending 100 freaking gold. I'll spend 50 on spices.
Okay, and that you're making sure to count that towards your cooking skill next time you have downtime.
Oh, I mean, that's way over. Actually, I'll spend 100, and that's way over the amount I need for cooking skill.
Okay. And we will call it there for the session. I will go ahead and... Oh, we actually didn't get to the combat that I had planned. Because we had to do the combat that I didn't have planned.
We're eventually going to get to the point. I am going to Pavlovian train Sweetie Bird. That she just senses spices whenever she sees my face.
You're just like, I'm the Silk Road, bitch.
Uh-huh.
Alright, let me just set up a draw poll here.
Yep.
I'm glad we've continued on our previous adventures, like, goal of only spending our money on the stupidest stuff possible.
Absolutely. That's tradition for this party. For these players, rather.
Brick Road, I want to know at what point during the design, like 50%, 60%, did you go in knowing you were going to use the term butt pirate? Like, at what point did you decide, yes, butt pirates?
Okay, so, full disclosure, this is not the
Yeah.
first D&D game where I've used the butt pirates.
Sure.
They are a group of goblin pirates that ride a great turtle that looks the shell
So
is
this
shaped
is-
like a butt. I
Was
probably
this created in high school, Brick Road?
probably it
God
was
damn it.
a long time ago. But it listen.
Uh-huh.
I would have used the butt pirates in the first Flumph campaign,
Yeah.
but it was the first game and my first time ever streaming D&D, and I'm like, maybe don't open with butt pirates.
The road was too far.
There's your struggle. But
I
now
feel
that
like
we're
we've
3
done
years
worse.
in and you all are trapped, it's like I have to bring back the butt pirates.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Can the rest of the party back me up on this? Where does he get off telling me I say stupid shit?
I can't disagree now.
Look in the mirror, Brick Road. Just like me.
Be the change you want to see in the world?
Oh no, absolutely not. No, do not change.
Nodal, are you disappointed that we didn't use the butt pirates in the previous campaign?
No, I can understand wanting to save up the butt pirates.
Why not the butt space pirates?
Their official name, the Virtjeer, that was courtesy of fantasynamegenerators.com. But I knew
Okay.
we wouldn't be using the official
I've
name.
already forgotten that name.
Right.
I put that in my notes, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be butt pirates.
Right. I actually don't have any XP to tally because we didn't get to do the combat that I was going to do. So we'll just do it next week, it'll be fine.